We're here with Seth with Broadleaf Tobacco in Severna Park, Maryland. Hey Seth, how's it going?
Good, how are you?
Pretty good. Hoping you could talk to us a little bit about lighting a cigar.
Yeah, absolutely. So that's a little bit more of an animal than cutting it. So obviously there's a bunch of different lighters, a bunch of different flame styles, a bunch of different ways to light a cigar. Now, at the end of the day, the important thing is that your cigar is lit. So you'll have people that'll say like, don't use a Zippo and don't use that. Yeah, they're right. But at the end of the day, if you don't have a lit cigar, you got a pacifier. So the important thing is that the cigar is lit, right? What I like to do generally is I use butane and get a really good pure quality butane. You don't need $1 million lighter to do it, although I prefer that you buy one. But no, you do need a good quality lighter. And what I try to do when it comes to lighters and accessories is I try to maximize, because you're spending money in my store, which keeps my lights on and my doors open. I greatly appreciate it, right? But I want you to maximize your dollar. So you'll always find lighters in here that even like soft flames that are dual flame. They'll have a punch on the bottom. So at the very minimum, you have the very minimum tools to enjoy a cigar in a small package. So I always try to do that. I generally will not carry or stock a lighter that's just a single flame and just a lighter, or a double flame and just a lighter, or a triple flame, or a quadruple flame. They've got them out there, believe me. And it doesn't have any type of cutting instrument on the bottom of it. You know, the fuel window, I mean, yeah, that's great accessory, but at the end of the day, who cares? The main thing is to cut and light the cigar, or punch and light the cigar. Because like I said, if you don't have a lit cigar, you got a pacifier. But that's generally what I do. I generally just take a punch or cut the cigar, and then I like to dry draw, which is inhaling, just unlit. You can kind of get that straw in that tobacco. And then I like to blow out 2 or 3 times, because in the manufacturing process, and I know we're going to do other videos about this, but just real quick, in the manufacturing process, there's just small bits of tobacco. I mean, like size of a pinhead, little dust or whatever, you know what I mean? And nothing that's going to hurt you, but, I like to blow out. It just kind of gets rid of anything that's in there, because I want it to be just the tobacco. So obviously you've got your matches. Those are fantastic. Go for sulfurless matches.
If you can't go for sulfurless, is there a trick to not get that nasty sulfur taste?
Yeah, light it and let it burn for a few seconds.
Okay.
You just kind of get out of that sulfur on the head. You know what I mean? Just light it, let it burn for 3 or 4 seconds.
I see you have a cedar strip there.
Yeah.
Can you tell us what's that all about? Because I've seen people light cigars with that as well.
Yeah. So back in the day, and they still do it today, but they pulled back on it a little bit because of just trying to, be a little bit more environmentally friendly and sensitive. And they would put these thin layers of cedar in the cigar. So it'd be 12 cigars and then 13 cigars, 25 cigars, right? So they would put a thin layer of cedar in there. Plus there was a cedar spacer. But anyway, that has a purpose. That's not just for aging or anything like that, because a box is cedar, so who cares? But what you're supposed to do with that is break that up into these smaller punks, right? Like that. And then you can take a match, but we're on camera, and for the interest of time, you can take a lighter. And what you do, and then this becomes your match. And that is the absolute old school, purest way of lighting a cigar.
Okay.
Yeah. And I do that so that what I'm doing when I blow like that is to check and make sure that the light's even.
Okay. Mm-hmm. Would you do the same thing with a torch or even a soft flame?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because you take the torch, and what I'll do is I'll toast it a little bit, like that. Like there, the light was just a little bit uneven, so I just toasted it and just kind of even it up a little bit. But you don't need to like that's the way you light the cigar. What you do is you just maybe toast it up a little bit, and then you
like a touch-up. Mm-hmm. And if you don't have the matches in the cedar, the punk, as you said, you would just basically do the same thing with the torch. And I guess you could do the same thing with the soft flame as well.
Yep, exactly. So you would do, like this is a little pipe lighter, but you would just take your soft flame, kind of toast it up a little bit, right? Warm it up, and then light it. It just, the soft flame's same thing. It just takes longer.
Gotcha.
You know, it just doesn't get as hot as one of the jet lighters. That's all.
Okay. Cigars being a handmade item, I've seen them not burn evenly sometimes.
That happens.
Is that something easily you could touch up?
Yeah. I mean, I was smoking something last night and it was burning all over the place, kind of, getting real crazy on me. It's just, it'll hit a vein, in the leaf. Maybe there's a little bit of a spot that's, a little bit moister than the other bit of the cigar. But it's mostly due to veinage in the leaves and those type of things. But I had one last night that was doing the same thing. And you just take the lighter or take the punk or the matches, whatever you want to do, and you just go from the side and even it up, and that's about it.
Gotcha. Does the punk give any kind of a flavor to the cigar? And the reason I ask that is I remember you had somebody in here that got a really rare cigar, and you recommend to them to try lighting it with the punk.
I don't know if it imparts like a cedar. At least it's not something that I pick up. I'm sure there's people that are out there that are more perceptual than me, that might be able to pick that up. But especially when it comes to your rare cigars, I mean, you can light cigar any way you want, But to me, especially when it comes to a really, really rare or a high-end cigar, Davidoff Millennium, I still have a box of those. There's Partagas 150s. All these kind of odd things that are out there that are higher end and very sought after. Those I always light with cedar. And it's just because it's purity. Because you're totally away from, and look, at the end of the day, like that butane that we sell here is like purified like 15 times or there's some crazy ass number, right? It is ultimately pure. It is totally blue, totally clean. The next step for it is invisible. It's that pure. But it's one step removed more, and it's just the wood, the cedar is the natural substance. That's all.
So it's kind of more of an homage to the old way, maybe like a respect to the quality of the cigar. Okay.
Yeah. I'm definitely paying a little bit of respect to the maker and the cigars, and really to the maker. I mean, the cigar, it doesn't care, but it's going to die. But in a small fire, but definitely to the makers and just the people that have been doing this, for hundreds and hundreds of years.
Gotcha.
That's really what that's about.
Now, another question that I hear a lot is, if let's say you just got a call, you have to go somewhere. If you've got to stop smoking that cigar,
just let it go out.
Let it go out. Now, are you gonna cut it?
You can. So if right now all of a sudden I had to get up and I couldn't just let it sit and go out, you could pull back about an inch or so and clip it and then let that fire go out. One of the important things to do is when you pick it back up and you're going to re-smoke it, because there is, smoke in here because you've drawn through it, blow back out. So when you pick it up, obviously it's going to be out, but you just and kind of push that old smoke that might be in there. And it's going to bite you. I mean, most cigars like that, they don't like to be lit and relit. So it's going to bite you as far as it's going to be a little bit, I don't know if acrid, but it's going to be a little bit bitter and bitey. But then that tobacco warms back up and everything warms back up and she becomes your friend again.
Gotcha.
It's like makeup sex after a fight.
You said that a cut cigar, after you've lit it, has the smoke inside. So I'm guessing you don't want to put that in with your other pack of cigars once you do that.
No, if you can avoid that, avoid that.
Okay.
Again, and also climate too. Like we're here in Maryland, so we have pretty good humidity and those type of things. So I could just leave the cigar out for half a day or a day, and it's probably okay. The high desert in Las Vegas or something like that, not so much. It's going to dry out really quick. So you might want to, cut it, blow that smoke out, and then put it back in with your cigars. But the main thing is like not putting ash or the burnt section back in with your cigars, especially A, if it's hot, and then B, even if it's not, you really don't want to do that. I mean, if that's your only alternative, then that's your only alternative to keep it fresh, then do it. But in that case, I would cut it back a ways and then blow out and then put it in the bag.
Gotcha. And I've heard that it's a hot debated topic on, now you said to let a cigar to go out, you just leave it.
Yeah, just leave it alone.
When you're done with the cigar, I've seen people kind of like stamp it out, which I heard is a no-no.
You bought it, man.
Okay.
You know, but that's my feelings. Like, that's not something I do. But at the end of the day, you bought it. That's your property. I don't. You know, if you want to throw it out a window doing 65 miles an hour, then do it. I don't. You know, the purchase was made. But I just let them go out. You know. But I do. I see guys that mash them out and stuff like that. But also too, like in a store, especially at the end of the night when you're closing, what that is guys are like trying to mash that out a little bit because they know they don't want anything hot going in your trash. You know, they don't want to be responsible for like a small fire or something like that. And they know you want to get out of here. And it takes a cigar a minute or two. It's not like a cigarette, you know. It takes a cigar a few minutes to go out. So they know you want to like get out of here or whatever, and so they'll mash it out for you.
Okay.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to bring up on this topic?
No.
Excellent.
I think that's about it. Just you know, choose your lighter selection carefully. You don't have to have a lighter. You don't need. Look, at the end of the day, lighters are cool, and I have 1 billion of them, and I'll sell you 1 billion of them. I'll sell you one for $1 billion. But the reality is that all you need to do is light the cigar. And I, even as a tobacconist, as a true old school tobacconist, I want to sell you cigars, not lighters.
Gotcha.
So,
but you do have a giant selection of lighters.
Oh yeah.
I've seen a couple
Sizes,
different cans of the butane over there. Everything
enamel,
that they need.
non-enamel lighters, art on the lighters, not silver, gunmetal, black, gold. I've got it all. I mean, there's every red, blue, green, yellow. There's every color and style and shape.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, thank you. Can you tell us a little bit about the address here for somebody that wants to come up?
Yeah, 487 Ritchie Highway, Severna Park, Maryland, 21146, 410-315-8118, and Monday through Saturday, 11 to 8, and then Sunday, 12 to 6. We keep it real simple.
Excellent. Thank you, Seth.
Thank you.